Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
We got
We're
iPhone
back.
season! Woo, woo!
So close to invites, right?
Yeah.
How close?
Maybe. By the time this comes out, maybe in a few days.
Should be
No
super
invites right now, though. So sad.
And I'm also sad Series 7 could be delayed.
Yes. Yeah. Series 7.
How do you think,
Go ahead.
how should they handle that? Should they announce it later or just announce it with the iPhone and be late with shipping?
I'd much rather have them announce it now with the iPhone.
Same.
And then I
Same.
can
Me
know
too.
what I'm waiting for. Because as of right now,
Correct.
I'm looking at the Series 4, which is doing great as a watch because I don't use it. But what is really killing me is my white watch band is no longer white. And I really don't want to just go
Really?
buy another white watch band because, you know, I'll probably get another white watch band here in a few weeks anyway. So I've been waiting.
True.
So
Have you been wearing your Apple Watch more regularly?
I have been. So much so. It started out
Ooh,
as...
I got to add you back
You-
on activity tracking.
Look at this. Look at this. I'm kind of working on my tan line. It's kind of bad.
Oh,
It's pretty bad.
mine's pretty bad too.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yours is
Look at
yours
these.
is worse.
Mine is
or
mine is
better.
definitely worse. Better. Yeah. So I started it and then I realized I had a tan line and then I figured, well, I can't stop now. And so I'm trying to see how bad I can get the tan line. So we're gonna keep wearing it for the next couple months. See how bad it gets.
Yeah, I tried to combat it a few years ago. I was like, ooh, this isn't looking good. I'm going to wear it on the other wrist. And that felt weird, and I was not used to it at all, and I couldn't get used to it. So after like a month of trying to wear it on my other wrist, I gave up. And I was like, I'm just going to have a tan line. There's no way around it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
and the thing is, I have
I've
to
given
line
up.
it up just perfectly every single day and make sure my tan line is lined up.
It can't be slightly off.
That
it's
would
gotta
wreck
be
everything. But yeah.
Very precise.
So I'm looking
Okay.
forward to the new Apple Watch. Was kind of hoping that it would come sooner than later, but if it's going to be delayed, I
Yeah.
guess it needs to be delayed. And I guess it's good news that the iPhones aren't delayed. Like it could have gone the other way. Could have had Apple
So
Watches.
you
and
were
no
kind
iPhones.
of anti-Apple Watch lately.
I still
or
kind
at
of
least
am.
in the past year. Okay.
The only reason why I like wearing it now, obviously I'm not at my desk all day every day, and so having
Mm-hmm.
the time just on my wrist is more useful than it was previously.
Right.
Because normally when I'm at my computer, my clock is right on my computer, and I have multiple computers
Yeah.
with multiple clocks, and my phone's right here. But when I'm out in the field doing Starbase stuff, it is nice to have a watch, have text messages come through. Just having an Apple Watch is useful for non-desk related purposes. So I've definitely been using it more and charging it up every night with MagSafe Duo. I hadn't been doing that for the better part of a
Sweet.
year. It was just, it just felt like a chore to use it and keep it charged. But
Yeah.
I don't know, in the past month or so, the benefits of an Apple Watch have come back, and I'm enjoying it. And
Nice. Good.
I'm fairly certain I'm going to get the Series 7, especially with the design
Really?
change. Yeah.
This is the first I've heard. You were kind of like, who cares? It's a watch.
Yeah, just in the past couple weeks, it's kind of been like, okay, I think I'll get a Series 7.
What about the 7 inspires you? Is it just the design?
Literally
Or is-
nothing about the 7 inspires me. It's just the fact that I have a Series 4 from like 2018, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I could do it in the new watch now. And if I'm gonna get a new one,
Battery?
the battery's
that it?
fine enough. It ends the day at about 15 to 20%, so it's a little tight, but it does.
Yeah.
It is enough to get me through the day what I need. And at the end of the day, if it dies an hour before I go to bed, it doesn't really matter. Because again, I'm pretty much just using this to check the time, get the occasional text message, send the occasional text message, just watch things, real lightweight things, and recording voice memos and all these other fun things that the watch can do. And the Series 7 is just going to be able to do that so much better. Having the always on display is something I'm looking forward to trying. I haven't really tried that extensively yet. And so that'll be kind of fun to have. Obviously, the new
I've had it
redesign,
off for
but,
a while.
Really?
But yeah.
You turned it off? Ooh.
I go back and forth. I'll do like a month on, month off. There's a few circumstances where it's kind of nice, but other times where, especially at night, if it's dark, the always on display, even at its darkest, is still very bright and noticeable in a bedroom. So in those circumstances, I'm like, they either got to turn on theater mode, or I just preserve. If ever I'm in a situation where I need my watch to last me more than one day, which just happened because like when I go mountain bike riding in the morning, I want to have the Apple Watch. Underrated feature is probably the alarm.
Yes.
It's like the most gentle, quiet way to wake up in the morning. It's so much more relaxing to get a tap on the wrist opposed to iPhone making annoying chirping sound. So just having the little tap on my wrist when I'm ready to wake up is just so much nicer. So I did that this morning, which meant I wore it all last night, and the always on display being off preserves battery quite a bit. So I have not charged it last night. I haven't charged it since Thursday morning. We're recording this Friday morning, and I'm at 52%.
That's not bad.
I could probably stretch it to 3 days if I really needed to, but 2 days usually is what I'll do once or twice a week. But there's been a handful of times.
That's definitely a use case that I don't know. I do 2 days ago or so. I'd charged my watch during the day because I'd missed it the night before. And when I went to bed, it was still at like 70-something%. It's like, I'll just wear it to bed. And I didn't even think about it. But in the morning, my alarm, instead of going off on my phone, went off on my watch. And I woke up and I was like, this is nice. Just like, it's much more pleasant than having to go all the way over to your phone. Or I got HomePod minis recently, and do not set a wake up alarm on a HomePod. Oh my gosh.
Really? Is it loud?
It starts it at full blast. It's like it's just like you shoot away like
I've never tried that.
Yeah, no, do not do that. So yeah, I'm like, okay, that's definitely a useful purpose. And back when I got the Series 4 originally and kept my Series 3, I kind of had a watch that I wore to bed and a watch that I wore during the day, and that worked out well. And right now I don't even know where my Series 3 is. I still have it. I don't know if it works. No, do I still have it? No, I think I gave that to Louise, didn't I? Yeah, she has it.
Yeah, Louise still has it.
I don't have it. I got a whole chest full of other watches.
Apple Watches.
I have a lot of other Apple Watches though. But anyway, it'll be nice to have a secondary Apple Watch. Like I'm going to keep the Series 4 around and probably just wear it to bed. And because I do like that kind of wake up schedule, I guess, not with a HomePod alarm, which I cannot recommend.
Yeah, that's by far one of my, well, at least not every morning, but the mornings where I have to get up earlier than usual, that's when I do it. The rest of the week, I'll just drop it on MagSafe Duo. But someone tagged me on Twitter this morning with, this is not the official name, but it's called MagSafe. I'm calling it MagSafe Trio.
MagSafe Trio? No way.
It's 2 MagSafe attachments, an Apple Watch charge puck in the middle, and it's USB-C.
Oh, wow.
I was like, ooh, this looks...
This is right up
shout
your
out to Carl Riddings. He sent me the link to it, but it's in the UK, so I don't know if there's a way... It says I can buy it with Apple Pay, but I don't know if they ship out here. Obviously, I don't have pounds, but...
I have a few extra. If you need a few pounds, just let me know.
I guess I do have some extra, those kind of pounds, but it's 84 pounds, which I'm guessing is cheaper
heavy.
than MagSafe Duo.
That's heavy for an Apple Watch. It's your Trio charger.
It weighs quite a bit, but I imagine... there might be some quality thing that's not quite up to MagSafe Duo. Whenever we complain about Apple accessories and Apple products being super duper pricey, and then we try out the third party, it always ends up being like, you can tell where they cut out the quality.
Yep.
You can feel it a little bit in those third party watch bands or those third party adapters or cables. It's like, I mean, I'm the quack guy, but you've always been about getting the Apple certified adapter with SD card, and
True.
Mike did that recently too. He was like, I gotta get an adapter for my new 24-inch iMac, and he needed the SD card slot thing, so he bought a USB-C to SD card slot adapter, and I was like,
well,
Mike, no.
Quack.
Quack.
Right. I actually have been using the heck out of I have 2 Apple branded SD to Thunderbolt or USB-C adapters, and I actually use both of them at the same time on my 2-port MacBook Pro. And every time I use both of, like, I have 3 cameras now that I'm shuffling footage around 24/7. Like, it's just a constant upload, keeping things uploading. And so I'm constantly, I have them both plugged in my desk right now, like both of the one's into my dock and the other one's sitting here on my computer. I'm using these card readers a lot, and every time I use both of them at the same time, which is like literally all the time, I always think to myself, I could care less if the next MacBook Pro has an SD card reader, because I'd still have a dongle sticking out of this thing.
You would probably.
I would prefer more ports than two USB-C ports at this point, but whatever.
That was my next question. Would it be kind of a deal breaker if there's still only 2 USB-C ports? It's like,
no, it's not a deal breaker for me. I mean, I'm using a computer that has just 2 USB-C ports, so it's not the end of the world in my opinion. However, I think I'm fairly confident. I mean, obviously, Apple marketing is going to do a real good job convincing me. I'll probably change my mind, and I'll regret saying this on the air. But I am
save this clip.
You save this clip, Jay. And make sure this one comes back to haunt me on the internet. Appreciate it. Tweet me.
Right.
I am fairly satisfied with my current computer setup. Like I'm not in the market.
In the market.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If for some reason it's like a really beautiful design, even then though, like what I love so much about this 13-inch MacBook Pro is like I don't care about it. Like I'm sorry, I know Nick's the AirPods yeeting Apple sheep who just doesn't care about technology.
You once were.
I once was, and I got a lot better, and I did take care of a lot of my stuff. Like my 12 Mini's in great condition. It's been in this case the whole time. It's beautiful, but it's kind of nice to have a computer that I don't really care about design wise, because if I had the brand new unicorn MacBook Pro that was so beautiful and exactly what I wanted, I think I'd be a little bit more protective about it. And what I do is outside every day in the dust and dirt and Starbase, taking pictures and uploading stuff.
Sure.
And it's just kind of nice to have a truck drive by and have a bunch of dust cloud like fly through my car because the windows are down, and me not immediately go to dive and protect my computer. It's just like, whatever. If it gets messed up, I'll get a new one, whatever.
I'm trying to think if there'd be any functional benefit. All I could think of for you would be mini LED potentially having a brighter display,
that would
so it's
be
easier
nice.
to view in daylight.
That would be a little nice, but again, I'm not gonna spend $4,000 for that feature.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm discovering as I've switched back to AirPods 2 how bad the battery health is on them.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Non-Pro. What the heck, dude? You broke. You not only are you broke now, you broke your Apple sheep bone. I don't know what. We need to take you to the doctors.
I know. Yeah, I wish I had an answer too. It's like my ears are accustomed to the older tips, and I think you were there on the call last week.
Yep, I remember when you switched and you're like, whoa.
We finished the show, and we were wrapping up, and my AirPods Pro were dying, so I put them in the case. And I was like, I'll just switch to AirPods 2 for a second. And then you guys were talking through them, and I was like, what changed? What just happened? Like, why does it sound so much better? And I realized I hadn't wore them in forever. And ever since that week, I've been using these for everything, and I'm loving it for some reason. It's just they feel
the McDonald's
like
of headphones, and he's loving it. Wow.
Yeah,
what a
the McDonald's of headphones. That's a very accurate description.
I think
everyone
I stole
memes
that from your video.
Oh, thank you. But it's a good point I made, because everyone memes on McDonald's. Everyone jokes about how bad McDonald's is. It's terribly unhealthy and no one should eat. But then, how many people eat at McDonald's every day?
Mm-hmm. More than the number of people who admit that they eat in McDonald's every day.
Yeah, that's true. I've always seen, there's a few YouTubers I've watched. I think it was Golly from Hyperchange who said something like, he just grabbed some McDonald's, but then like everyone who says they grab McDonald's like apologizes for it. They're always like, so I grabbed some McDonald's. I hate McDonald's, but sometimes you just gotta eat. It's like, well, I think if everyone hated it, they wouldn't be selling that well. It's the same thing with these headphones. It's like they sell really well, they're really popular, and despite them not being an audiophile's dream, I'm still very comfortable with them, and I prefer the heavy bass. And the only thing I don't care for is, I guess, the stem. I never do this thing. I never like tap the side. I know that they thought that was going to be the future, but I literally would rather pause from my watch or skip from my watch. I never tap because that's just like too much vibration in my ear. So the Force stem thing would be much nicer. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm mildly interested in AirPods 3, but September is already looking like a terrible month for our bank accounts. So
what's on your
iPhone?
What's on your bank account watch list at the moment?
iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Okay.
I've been in the market for a Mac for about 3 years now.
Okay. Yikes. That's going to be a big one.
I can't get a break. I'm not sure how I want to buy the Mac because I've been touting certified refurbished so much on live streams and in podcasts that I'm like, maybe I should put some credibility to that and just wait for certified refurbished MacBook Pros to come out, because then I can say I use one myself. Like this is all being run from certified refurbished. And we saw the M1 iMac come out with a certified refurbished, like I think it was 3 months after launch.
Huh.
So if I just have to wait 3 months and I could get like a $400, $500 discount on the trim I'm looking for, then I might do that if this is a product I plan on buying and keeping for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling the same way about the Apple Watch, because every time I see the Series 7 leaks, or the 9 to 5 Mac did some really, really good concept art of what the bigger display on the Series 7 looks like, and how thin the bezels are, and the rumored exclusive watch faces, which is going to make all the Series 4s feel dated. But I know that I don't want to buy a new watch every year. And I know that if I do want to get this watch, I'm probably going to want to go steel, just so I can get the sapphire glass for longevity's sake. I'm noticing the little micro ones. They're not terrible, but I notice them. And I just know that I could probably get a better return on the Series 6 if I sell it now rather than later. 5 years down the line, it's going to be worth $50 according to Apple, or less. So
literally less. Negative value sometimes.
Negative.
You can pay to ship it to us if you'd like.
You can pay to shipping. That's my favorite expression. That's a win for the environment.
That's
too.
a win for the environment too.
Apple, you put in your trade-in info, and they're just like,
we don't want this. We really don't want this.
We'll take it. You get nothing, but we'll take it. So I've seen a lot of really good deals on certified refurbished Series 6s and stuff, and I see them go on sale not too long after they come out. So I'm like,
are they steel though?
The dilemma here. Yeah, I saw some steel ones actually. Mike's wife was asking for a Series 5 a few months back, or maybe last year. It was a while ago. She was basically like, I want the always on display, but I want the glass to be durable, because she works with horses all the time, and she spends a lot of time outside. So I was like, okay, then you want probably a steel Series 5, but I won't tell you to get a new one. So I found a refurbished one, and it was like $150 cheaper than it would have been new. So I was like, yeah, just do that. And she loves it. No complaints. So I'm thinking, if the dilemma for upgrading my watch is the money, because I'm facing this moral dilemma of, do I really want to drop that much money on a watch that functionally offers no changes over my Series 6? It's just a design thing.
Yep.
It would be an easy decision if it was like $100 difference or a $200 difference, but the way I've worked out the math on how much I think I could sell this for versus what the steel option would cost, it sounds like it would out the door be like a $450 upgrade. So if I can get that lower in any way, and I can say, all right, I can justify getting a Series 7 if it's on sale, or if it's certified refurbished, and I sell my Series 6 to offset the cost, then that makes the dilemma more digestible, I guess is the term. So that's, I guess, what I'm toying around with, is like, do I need to buy and keep these Apple products day one, week one?
That's a really healthy decision to ask yourself, though, Drew. I can totally appreciate that, I think
it's a good exercise for our audience too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, getting things day one is fun, and if you're ready to buy it, and if you're willing to pay the premium, it is fun to get stuff day one. But like this MacBook Pro, like I think I got it 8 months after they were released, and I found it like this is a refurbished MacBook Pro that's running this whole podcast.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
I forgot you got a refurbished one.
I found a screaming deal on this. So it was 2 terabytes, 16 gigs of RAM. I got it for like $15.99 or something like that.
Wow.
Which I don't remember.
That's pretty good.
How much off that was at this point, but
go ahead.
It was.
I'll find it.
I remember being like, it was like significant, like $300 or $400 off, and
yeah,
it was like, you know what, there's literally no difference. I just don't have the fancy Apple box. That's literally all.
Right.
And it came in perfect condition and came with 3 cycles on the battery, which, spoiler, I've bought brand new Macs before that have 5 cycles on them. So like, that's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it's totally cool. And I don't know about Apple Watch. I think Apple Watch it's something that I have, Apple Watch used to be my favorite product. Like I have a huge affinity for Apple Watch. I was an Apple Watch collector at one point. I just love the beauty of everything about the Apple Watch. And so I don't think I'd want to wait for that. I think I would for sure want the watch day one. Just because it is a fashion product and it goes on my wrist, and I'm going to be wearing it for years. I mean, I've been wearing a Series 4 in either gold or steel since 2018.
That's right. I remember you got gold and you didn't like it.
I didn't, so I stole your steel. Like, Drew, give me your steel. I'm gonna steal it.
Stole the steel.
I stole the steel because that's more me. But with the iPhone, I'm definitely gonna get it. Likely day one, but I don't feel urgency, I guess. Like, I'm just going to get it day one because that's when I get iPhone. Like,
I thought with your 12 mini and the overheating problems out in the field, it was kind of urgent.
It is urgent, but I guess now that I have an apartment with, Wi-Fi and air conditioning, and I've set up my cube, which works, by the way. That was a little bit of a scare.
Oh, sweet! You should tell that story.
Yeah, I will in a second. But yeah, now that I'm kind of set up and established here, and I'm not trying to run everything off of my phone, it's definitely gotten a little bit better. Although it is just always plugged in when I'm down at Starbase, because the radios are at full blast, trying to get the 1 bar of reception of either AT&T or Verizon, and it just lives in the plug. But yeah, so I definitely want to get it. But now that you bring that up, I'm gonna have to think about that for a little while. If I wouldn't mind waiting another month or 2 to find a refurbished iPhone,
or just a sale,
or a sale.
That could happen.
Or wait for AT&T to be like, Nick, we want you to stay here. Like, no, I'm leaving you. I'm
more certain on the phone, so I think that's one I don't plan on waiting for, just because. I've wanted 120 hertz so long.
Really? Do you like 120 hertz?
This is a little secret.
This is a big secret on the Talos of Tech podcast.
No one knows about this, but I really like high refresh rate, and I still get annoyed every time I go from my iPad to my iPhone and I notice that change. So I don't want to try it for the review and then say goodbye to it and then have to wait till a sale comes around. So that one I'm pretty confident I'm just going to day one get it and then keep it for as long as possible, because Apple's going to have to try really, really hard to come up with some reason for me to upgrade after this.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if there's rumored to be periscope lenses on the
I saw that
next year.
Yeah.
Do you have any interest in that? Or
I mean,
I feel like it's kind
a few
of
weeks ago I probably would have been excited about it, but I got bigger lenses and bigger cameras now.
Right.
It's just like, I don't really
need
what I was thinking that much on my phone when I have like infinite zooming abilities on real cameras that look good, that aren't potato.
That's your go-to.
Yeah,
the iPhone's not your work
that's
camera.
That's my go-to. Well, at this point, yes, but there have been times where I'm in the moment in the field and something happens and I need to capture it really quick. And there have been times where I wish I did have a telephoto lens. Now, when I say telephoto lens, I'm talking about 2 to 5x zoom, not 100 times zoom. So I would be excited. I'm definitely excited to get a telephoto lens back this year. I'm totally going to use that. Randy, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Cropping is not good. But yeah, so telephoto would be great. But this whole periscope thing next year, I don't know. I mean, I'll take a look at it, I guess. And I really hope it's not past 10 times zoom, because anytime you go past 10 times zoom or about 200 millimeters on a full frame, you really cannot hold that still. It's just, I don't care. Like, I don't care what you're doing at 200 millimeters. You're not going to be able to have a still video. You can get still pictures just fine as long as it's bright enough, but you cannot get a video that looks stable. And I have a 600 millimeter with, you know, full frame and crop sensors, and even on big fancy tripods that you know, are built for video to keep things stable.
Yeah.
If there's a slightest breeze, the whole thing goes.
Right.
So I have to get up like an umbrella.
Maybe the sensor shift stabilization could help.
Yeah,
a little.
it could on the iPhone. Yeah, and I hope it would. So I don't know. They can throw some AI at it or something, because that fixes all the problems.
Yeah. I'm sure you could add some kind of stabilization since the sensor itself is larger than what you're punching in on. But yeah, when I messed around with it on the Galaxy Ultra, it was interesting. It's the same thing. My experience with all Samsung hardware is that's kind of cool, but I'm not willing to switch for that. It's always like, with Space Zoom at least, the 100x view is so terrible that you would never actually take any pictures or videos you care about at 100x. But that's mostly not what people use it for. Their argument is that it makes for a better 10x or a better 20x. And when you compare those to the digital cropping on a telephoto lens iPhone, it's always like a bit better. Okay, I can see the clarity, but it's not night and day. It's always like just it's like the FBI did the enhanced thing. You know, they just were like, oh, okay, it's a little clearer, but it's not like, I don't know, a must-have feature for me. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that will not be a reason for me to upgrade alone.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm planning on next couple weeks. Oh my God, it's September.
I know, right? But, welcome to September iPhone season.
I'm getting my last iPhone this month.
Wow, you're intending on dying next week? My goodness, that's sad.
Yeah. Well, we don't. Yeah.
Please,
apocalypse
give me a call, Drew.
Yeah. No, I mean, last iPhone for a long time. Not sure how long. Could be 4 or 5 years.
At least a year.
At least 1 or 2 years. I'd consider it a big fail if I didn't make it 1 year. I'd be like, oh, actually, it has this one feature I really need.
Yeah.
I still plan on reviewing them, but not to keep.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to something similar to that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my life will be like in a year, but if it's anything like it is now, I would be interested in a telescope, periscope lens thing, but at the same time, I'd probably use it like once and then defer back to my nice camera gear that I've spent lots of money on that is way better than what a phone can be. And it is inconvenient. Yeah, you got to carry around tripods and all that stuff. So maybe the convenience level of a good zooming iPhone will win me over, but I kind of doubt it.
Could that also save you steps with, because I know a lot of your job involves like snapping pictures and then posting them on Twitter. And if your phone had decent cellular, and let's just, for example, say periscope lens is amazing, it's fantastic, and you can get really zoom thanks to deep fusion and the A16 chip. It's just so good. You can get pretty dang close to the type of quality you get with your giant DSLR. Would that save you a ton of time to be able to just directly tweet from your phone instead of having to pull out the SD card, import it to the computer?
I don't do that.
Go through all that?
Well, I have done that. The Sonys have a wireless. It's kind of like AirDrop, but it's less convenient. So it's about, I don't know, a total of like 15 clicks between the camera and your phone, but you can AirDrop stuff basically. And so that's typically what I do for those in the moment tweets, where something's happening and I need to get it fast, because it only takes about 20 or 30 seconds or so to get it all lined up. But the big problem has been Over is no longer Over. It's now Studio.
That's right.
I hate that.
I've been wanting to talk about this for a while.
I set all of my stuff to not update. I do not want to update anything, and I updated iOS, and when I came back, it now says Studio, and it's a blue app, and I'm so sad. It's no longer yellow Over.
I have turned it off on my iPad. I still have the yellow Over.
Don't update iOS, because that's what did it for me. I don't know. Something between the iOS it did another beta update, and when it came back, it was blue Studio app. I was like, dang it.
Yeah, because it updated on my phone, and the phone is now GoDaddy Studio. I don't know the business side of things. Maybe Over was struggling and GoDaddy helped them out, or so. I don't know the story, but all I know is the app feels much more clunky, and it feels like there's more things behind a paywall now than there used to be. And I recently canceled my Over Premium because I was trying to see if I can get all my memberships lower than before, and so far everything I need Over for I can still use even without Over Premium.
Same, but
GoDaddy Studio, from the brief times I tried to mess around with it, was making the external fonts much harder to import, and it gets rid of the PNG Google search feature, which is my go-to for everything. And I think the Over Premium subscription now is different. Like, they've changed the prices on it, so now it's like it's not $50 a year for the GoDaddy Studio version of the premium plan. To get all those features I want back, it's going to cost more than that. I think it was like $15 a month or $10 a month or something like that. But I was so upset with it that I quickly ran into the App Store settings on my iPad and turned off automatic updates. So I'm using the old version as long as possible. Really? Have you heard other people having this complaint?
I mean, on YouTube, I watched one YouTube video with, I can't remember, one of the up-and-coming tech creators. I don't remember if it was iCave Dave or I don't remember if it was him or someone else. But anyway, someone recently did a video on the Over buyout thing, and they were also fairly upset about it. And I was like, so sad.
It's a shame. Yeah. They were such a great app for such a long time.
I know.
I was using Over way back in 2016. I think I did my first video on them. I was just so amazed by how simple they could make a customizable photo editing app. It's like Over was like my go-to prime example of like, so this is how you can make software that's professional with tons of options that also is user-friendly. Most of the time apps choose one or the other. You get your Adobe apps that are very basic and very analytical, and there's not a lot of user-friendliness. It's just like, there's all the data, here's all the tools. And then you have apps like Final Cut that don't have as many tools, and there's less features, but it's very user-friendly. It's very clean UI and fairly simple to manage for basic editing and stuff. But Over was like the perfect middle ground, where you could do so much stuff, and it was very easy to understand. You didn't have to teach anyone. Like, you have Photoshop courses. There was no point in an Over course. You just open the app and it works, and you know exactly how to put in photos and stuff. But I'm sure they captured some of that with GoDaddy Studio. Maybe I've just not given
Stop trying to give them credit. They wrecked it. I'm sorry. It used to be so good.
I will agree that the whatever the update to the app method was terrible, because at first the app updated and I noticed it was different. It wasn't Over anymore. And I tried to open it. It wouldn't let me sign in through my Over account. They were like, you need to make a GoDaddy account. So I tried to make a GoDaddy account, and then it was like, you can't make a GoDaddy account right now. And I tried to make one through the website and then use that through the app, and the app was like, we're sorry, that feature isn't working right now. And I tried to sign in with Apple because it had the sign in with Apple thing, and it was like, sorry, sign in with Apple is unavailable.
Jeez.
Like, okay, sign in with Google. Sign in with Google is unavailable. So basically, there was like about a week or 2 week time period where I could not access any of the projects that used to be in my Over app because they had basically forced everyone to make a GoDaddy account or that type of thing. It was just a big mess. And once the app started working again, it was like all the features I cared about were gone. So I was like, well, what a shame. What a blow. Oh, well. If there's any good alternatives out there you guys can recommend,
absolutely,
feel free to let me know.
Absolutely. I've been looking for one. I actually first noticed the big change with Studio. I hadn't updated it yet at that point, or it hadn't auto-updated. And Mary was asking me, how I get my watermarks on. And so I was showing her my Over app. And she was like, oh, that's so cool, because I just have like a little PNG file of my watermark.
Yeah.
And so I just, have that at the top of my favorites, and it's super easy. And I just add a picture in over, and then go to add another picture, and then just take that PNG, put it at the bottom, export it, and done. It's like super easy. And I was trying to show her that, and she was using the GoDaddy one, and it was all different. And I was like,
they changed it around.
They changed it around. I'm so sad. And so she couldn't even find it.
Do you still use Automator?
Oh, dude, totally. Yeah. So when I'm in the field doing, in the minute updates, I use, the Wi-Fi thing on my phone and over. But when I'm sitting with my computer, whether that's still in the field or at a desk like I am right now, I'm actually processing a few pictures as we speak, multitasking because I'm busy. But anyway, I have quite a few different automation workflows that all use Pixelmator. And if you ever get sick of Overdrew, which I have, I highly recommend Pixelmator Pro on the Mac App Store. I think it's $19 one time, fully outright. And it is better than Photoshop, in my opinion, the Adobe Suite Photoshop. It has all of the cool tools.
Everything's better than Photoshop.
I mean, okay, fine.
Yeah. There's an iPad version too, right?
So they're separate. So there are actually 3 different versions of Pixelmator. You can get Pixelmator Classic on the Map. I think that's $29. You need that for watermark automation, unfortunately. You can get Pixelmator Pro, which is $19 on the Mac, and then you can also get Pixelmator Pro Lite. I don't know what they call it on the iPad. Yeah, Pixelmator something on the iPad, and I think that's $9. So all in, you're still cheaper than 1 month of Creative Cloud on Adobe. So I call it a win. But yeah, so what I love about really Pixelmator Pro and Pixelmator Classic is they have a lot of automation like plugins. And so you can build like a whole workflow in Automator, which I have that processes most of my pictures for me. So I just select the pictures I want to have processed. It, does color correction, saturation, auto enhance. It adds a watermark and white balance, all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's definitely nice to have these tools available. But something that almost wasn't available to me tool-wise was my little Mac Cube, little G4 Cube, M1 Cube that I put together. I made the big move a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't gotten to the box that had my cube in it until this week. And I got it all out, and I set it all up, plugged everything in, and I pushed the power button, and nothing happened. My heart dropped. I know. It was so sad. I
was so sad when I got that text. You sent me the picture, and I was just like, oh my God. It's destroyed.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
So to be fair, I did have a basically Mac Mini logic board hot glued into a chassis inside of another piece of metal, bouncing around in the back of a U-Haul for over 1,000 miles. So...
You didn't put that in the front seat?
I didn't put it in the front seat. And then
buckled in?
I didn't buckle it in.
Give it a car seat?
I probably should have. So anyway, I opened it up.
Treasure.
I opened it up, and a screw had come loose from the logic board. And so I put it all back together again, and I re-hot glued something so it sticks together better, and it started up. So I don't know what the problem was or why it didn't start, because I don't think what I did actually fixed anything, but maybe taking it out and blowing on it or something helped. I don't know. But it's working now.
So it's not connected via cables, or is it pins?
No. So the screw that came out was, I think, a grounding screw, one that went to a grounding pad on the logic board. And so I don't know enough about computers to know if that makes a difference or not. But since I had the custom mod, I only had one of the screws attached to a grounding pin on the logic board, and I think those are important somehow. So it seemed that has fixed it.
They must be.
And so it's working now. And not only is it just working, I did put my Monterey on the Cube as well, because I wanted to play with a new feature.
Oh. You went Monterey. I haven't gone Monterey yet.
I went Monterey, mostly because this is pretty much a secondary computer at this point, because I'm not home a lot. And I already have Monterey on the MacBook Pro, and I've been loving it for however many months it's been. There have been a few beta issues, but not too bad at all.
Yeah.
But the reason why I did the deal is because I read with beta 5, I believe, there's a new beta that's out that bricked it, but for 2 weeks a while ago, you could download a beta that allowed the universal control to work. And so you had to open up your file system and make a new folder inside of some specific file, and then insert some document that you download from GitHub and restart it, and it worked. And now I have universal control on 2 computers, and it is literally amazing because I now don't have to have a keyboard or mouse for the Cube on my desk. It's literally just my MacBook Pro.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It is so nice. So
you control 2 Macs from just the keyboard and trackpad on your MacBook.
And the touch bar works and everything. It is like
that's
cool.
Right.
Yeah, so I got a touch bar.
Oh my god.
It doesn't the fingerprint sensor doesn't work on the for the Mac Mini, which I would assume so. But yeah, it is so cool to just, it acts like it's just a monitor, because like I've used this monitor, just HDMI plugged into my MacBook Pro many times. So it feels like I'm just using it like that. But whenever I can't drag a window between the two, I'm always like, oh, wait. Oh, wow, this is like a completely different computer that I'm controlling. And it's so nice to be able to like control it all, not have a clutter on my desk of an extra keyboard and an extra mouse. And I don't really use it. I never use the Cube without my MacBook Pro anyway, just sitting on my desk here. So it's literally perfect. And at this point, I'm not going to be updating any of these Macs until the feature is fully rolled out, because I've heard some rumors that it's not going to be ready on launch day with Mac OS. And so I'm going to be running these betas until whenever that comes out. So
I see.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Is it pretty low latency, or can you tell a little bit?
Extremely. You can tell a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's
okay.
It's I think it's smooth somehow. I don't quite know how it works, but you can. I might just move my mouse up here, and it takes a second to connect. But when it's trying to connect, you can see the mouse up there, and it's kind of just scatterbrains all over the place until it connects. And then it's, as long as you're not moving your mouse too fast, it's. I think you'd notice it, Mr. Frame Rate Guy, but for me, it looks like a less buttery version of my mouse, which I've run some computers that don't have great graphics, so I'm kind of used to that.
Yeah.
And
it's
nice. Definitely enough to use, 100% usable for me. I haven't done Final Cut yet, so maybe my opinion will change a little bit if I actually do some actual work instead of just moving files around. And again, I say this is my secondary computer. And it's just kind of cool to have this all working. And I was also kind of curious how it was going to be implemented. And I think I haven't seen much content on this, so if I had time, I would totally make a video about this. But the way it's been implemented, it's worked on a couple different betas, kind of backdoorish. But are you there? You Starlinked? Okay.
I'm here.
You Starlinked at the moment that I hit a button on the Cube via my MacBook Pro, so I thought I might have busted something.
Might have not been Starlinked then. I heard you fine the whole time.
Okay, maybe it was the little bug here, but anyway, I was really curious how the relationship would work. Like if you could, if like all the iPad would be on one side, to move your mouse to one side, even though the iPad's on this side. That's not how it works. At least in this beta in Mac OS, you have just like a regular display that you plug in. You can arrange them so you can have the displays wherever you want. And so I typically use the monitor for the Cube above my MacBook Pro. So I just have, the 1:1 type situation.
Right.
And so I just move my mouse to the top of my MacBook Pro's display, and it goes to the bottom of the Cube super seamlessly.
Wow.
Like it doesn't even take a quarter of a second to switch between the two. Like
really,
it is
That's so cool.
Extremely smooth. I'm quite happy.
I can't wait to try that.
Yeah.
That would make me hate iPad OS less. Just to be able to move my keyboard and mouse right here. Since I've sold my Magic keyboard case, that was part of the reason was universal control. And there's been several times where I've been like, I got to get over here, or I got to get Sidecar working. And Sidecar can be a little spotty sometimes for me. It might be the Wi-Fi's fault. I'm not sure. Even when I do it over USB, it's like annoying how even when you disconnect USB, it'll switch over to Wi-Fi, and I'm like, just stop, just disconnect. And sometimes it takes a second for it to realize, like, oh, he doesn't want a Sidecar anymore, so I gotta disconnect and everything. But if I didn't have to go through that whole setup process and I could just swipe my mouse over every time I needed to, that would be oh so nice. So I can't wait to try that. Plus, like, I get to keep iPad OS as iPad OS, so there's still over, if over's not over by then. I can move my mouse over and got Discord right there. But you bring an interesting point about the touch bar still working.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most expensive way to keep the touch bar working with future. Nick could someday buy the super powerful Apple Silicon Mac Pro and use it with the touch bar via universal control.
Just rip the screen off of my MacBook Pro and just take a bandsaw right off, and then just use this as a keyboard mouse combo.
Or you can just put a picture of you and your family over the display and just act like it's a desk ornament. Just electrical tape over the screen. It's not even there. Yeah. And you're just using the keyboard for the keyboard, and that's it. Yeah. It's wireless. It's got a battery. You just don't even pretend it's a computer. What is a computer?
What is a computer? I really think Apple should make an ad telling us what a computer is.
Did you see that ad with the Apple Music ad where the guy holds up the iPhone that doesn't look like a 6 or a 7?
Oh, he's like an Apple. This is from like 2018 or something, 2017.
Yeah, I think it was earlier, but yeah, he had like a rose gold iPhone that had the 7 antenna bands, but
yeah, the 6's camera.
My mind still wonders what that was.
Yeah, it was just an internal prototype.
And they didn't notice that in the commercial?
No, I'm sure they noticed it, but I'm sure they thought that that's what they were going to be doing. You know, I think that was the design that they were thinking they were going to use. And like, we'll future-proof this ad by using this prototype. And they're like, this is the design that you guys are going to use, right? And they're like, yeah. And then they did the ad, and then like 3 months later, once the phone came out, and that wasn't the right one, they're like, oh crap. Well, we already did it. Let's just post the video anyway.
I love it when they assume we won't notice details like that. Like every TV Plus show
in the
ever.
Settings.
Yeah. They won't even notice. It's just a little text.
I love how the people that Apple contracts with to do these ads could care less about it being Apple or Samsung or a furniture store.
They could not tell.
Exactly. And so it's all of us Apple sheep are like, oh my gosh. And then, like you get the Ted Lasso things. Okay, Drew, I got to say, I'm watching another Apple TV Plus show, and it's not a bad thing. I'm totally disappointed in myself.
You're really getting ingrained into Apple One now, aren't you? Okay, what are you using so far? Music, iCloud, TV?
Music, iCloud, and TV. I'm hoping to stop there. But I've heard so much about Ted Lasso from,
Are you saying Lasso?
Lasso? What was his name? Ted Lasso. What was it?
I don't even watch the show,
What is it?
It's Lasso. You were saying Lasso. I don't know.
Lasso. Whatever. They all have British accents over there. I can't understand it. They're practically speaking a different language across the pond. Last I checked.
I've heard great things about it,
dude.
I've heard people love that show.
I so far I'm halfway through the first season. Don't have a ton of time to watch stuff these days, but from what I've seen, it's up there with. I don't know. I wouldn't put it on Parks and Rec or Office level, but it's up there as far as like good sitcoms that I've seen. I don't know if it's a sitcom. I don't know what the definition of a sitcom is, but this show
situational comedy.
Oh, well, really?
So I think that counts.
Is that what it stands for? Anyway,
is it a comedy? I assume it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Or is it more drama?
Comedy drama overlap. I think it's definitely pretty comedic, but I think I don't know. Yeah, probably a little bit of a comedy. There are definitely some funny moments. But anyway, I just really love the story. Like, I'm a super optimistic guy. Like, I really identify with Ted. Like, he is so optimistic that his wife wants to leave him. Spoilers. And I'm only in the first halfway through the first season, so I don't know how they need to end.
People haven't watched it yet. I don't know if they ever will.
Exactly right. And so I'm just like, wow. I identify with this character. He just like takes every bad circumstance and flips into the positive. And I'm like, hey, he's my guy. And he's also dealing with the same deep, dark problems that I am. No.
The same deep, dark problems.
Yeah.
Man, this is an expensive show you're liking.
This is literally a $40 a month show. But now I get iCloud for free.
That's true. They throw in the iCloud, but if you start loving this show and want to keep watching new seasons of it, this is not free.
Yeah.
This is up there. Unless you just absolutely cannot live without 4 terabytes of iCloud storage, and there's no way around it. Because
no, let's do the weekly. How many terabytes of iCloud? I haven't deleted anything.
We're gonna end every show.
I've only uploaded things this week. I have not deleted anything. So let's see here.
It's not gone down then.
Oh no.
I want to see what Apple's response is when you fill up a 4 terabyte iCloud account. They're like, I guess
family sharing.
Stuff.
Have your family. Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking. I could probably have some of my family sharing, like move photo libraries over or files or something.
Let's be honest here. Like,
1.6.
We love our families, but
not that much.
At a certain point, not that much. I mean, like, I love my parents, but I'm not going to pay their iCloud bill. You know.
Oh, you don't pay their iCloud bill?
No, I don't.
Oh, is that an option?
I bet there's a lot of listeners we have out there where their parents pay their iCloud bill.
What?
That's likely a far more Nick is like mind blown. The parent could support the child on something? Impossible.
My mother gave birth to me. She raised me. She fed me. She clothed me. She housed me. And I'm going to expect her to pay for my 4 terabytes of data hoarding? No.
I know.
I'm going to do that for her.
I think the federal government says that your iCloud is responsible of your parents until 26, right?
Oh, is that what that is? Okay. Well, then I guess I've been an adult for a long time now.
It's either that or health insurance.
I think
insurance. It was iCloud, though.
Yeah, iCloud. I think iCloud is health insurance, honestly. You just go to the doctor and you just be like, I just have
digital
iCloud.
health insurance.
I have eye hair.
Nice minimal lock screen, by the way.
I took this picture of the moon. I was quite proud of it.
You did?
Yeah.
Whoa! I thought that was the iPhone XS wallpaper.
No,
with
this
the bulge.
This is a big picture of the moon.
The wallpaper that got sued over.
Yep.
Because it made the notch disappear.
It's obviously
that one.
framed to look like that, but it is a picture
nice
of the moon
shot.
that I took. I know.
Is that only available to Nick and Sweeney patrons or something?
Well, technically, I don't own the rights to that picture, but I will share that with whoever wants it.
Okay.
I took it though. Yep.
This whole video is going to get taken down because we
literally, yeah. Chris is just going to be like, "That's our content." Yeah.
We can't. Okay, what are you at, Nick? What's your iCloud
All right,
at?
1.69 terabytes available, which means I'm using
6.9.
the inverse of that. I know exactly. That's why I wanted to say 1.69, which means I am using 2.31 terabytes. So, still over 2 terabytes.
It's not as bad. I thought it was 2.7 last week.
I don't think so.
Maybe my brain misremembered.
Maybe I deleted stuff. I don't know.
You could maybe get by with Apple One Family.
What's that?
That would give you 2.2 terabytes.
2.2?
So you wouldn't have 4 terabytes, but you'd get 2 terabytes plus 200 gigs.
Yeah.
And you would still get TV Plus, Apple Music. I think you'd get Arcade, News Plus, and that's it. I don't think Fitness Plus comes with Apple One Family.
I don't want to get fit.
I bizarrely know so many details about Apple One. Let me find the page. They make it very hard to find it. You have to scroll to the bottom of the iPhone page and hit the Learn More. Okay.
It's the hidden option.
So you don't.
The cheat code.
Oh, this is great. Apple One Family is $20 a month.
Okay.
So you'd save $10, and it does not come with News Plus.
Okay, so it doesn't come with News Plus. It doesn't come with Fitness Plus, but I'm losing out on the storage. So I don't think I'm going to do that.
Correct.
Because we're still hurting on the storage. I was seeing that some people were saying I could move the photo library onto my NAS, which I know I can. I know where the file is on my Mac, but the problem is none of that is local. And I don't know if I want to make it local. Exactly. I'd have to download 2.31 terabytes.
What's your download speed there?
400, but sustained it's only like 20 megs probably, like actually downloading files. I don't know what the deal is. Like, You run a speed test. I'm on Ethernet. I'm on the choke point's a coax cable in the building. That's the choke point.
Yeah.
But other than that, we run a speed test. I get 450, 470 sometimes down, 20 up.
Okay.
And then whenever I go to download files, it's still only like 20 megabits a second. So I don't know why. It's nice that it's actually 20 megs a second, because back at my old house it was like 1 megasecond. So I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'm not computing. Much better than before. Maybe I'm not computering right, but still downloading 2.3 terabytes of photos onto. I don't even have a 2 terabyte. I don't even know if I could. I'd have to set my NAS up as a thumb drive, basically, for a USB storage for my cube. Let it download there, and then move it from one partition of the NAS to the other. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't know. And then it's an archive.
We don't have time
at that point. It's an archived copy. It's not fully updated, and then whenever I want to make, I don't know. It's.
After filming, me and Ross have been filming. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Ross and I have been filming a lot with the red Komodo.
Ooh, tell me about this. Ooh, camera gear. Ooh.
Well, I don't know what else there is to say other than just it's extremely.
It's terrible. Okay, got it.
High res. We're filming everything at 6K, and the color balance is fantastic. And I'm editing a lot of footage that's all black and white. And I am not a color expert, so we've decided that I'll be handling the basic editing, and he will come in and do the color and everything at the end. So I'm basically editing like a monochrome timeline right now, and it feels so weird because I'm so like used to just throwing my garbage into Final Cut and just upping saturation to 80%. Spoiler alert, that's my color correction. Just like, okay, yeah, looks blue. All right, start editing. And finish my whole timeline and everything. And sometimes I drop the shadows to combat the brightness coming in from the window. But other than that, it's pretty basic, and I'm used to editing in color, and now I'm editing all my stuff that's very monochrome because it's like the red's raw data. And
very flat.
They give you the flattest image possible. But after one day of shooting, we filled 500 gigs on this 1 terabyte CFast card. And that was just one day. So
wow.
What I've discovered after doing a few of these red shoots is that I definitely want a large SSD on my next MacBook, which Ross is saying, no, just get some external drive. You can just pop it in. And I was like, I'm already doing that with the iMac Pro, and I'm kind of annoyed by it. So
yeah.
He still has an iMac from 2015, and he's trying to edit a bunch of client footage off of it. It's so dang slow. I've told him a million times, get
a Mac Mini,
refurbished M1 Mac Mini. It'll be so cheap.
Yes,
it's totally worth it. And he's just like, no, because I want to. He wants something that he can like modify and upgrade, and he's just more of a modular type person. Like he works on his car, and that's the reason he bought the red, was because he wanted something he can take apart and modify. He wants to build, and he likes DIY stuff. Anytime I need something done, I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, I want to take it out of the box, and if it could jump up on my desk and start up, that would be great.
So you want Justin Long?
So I have to.
So you just want Justin Long?
Yeah, I want the Tesla bot to come set up my computer for me.
There you go.
I'm all about autonomy. Like, the whole reason I'm an Apple sheep is because I don't want to fix it. I don't want to work on it. I don't want to open it up. That's why I love all-in-one iMacs, is because it's just one cable, plug in,
and then try to get your mouse.
He's the opposite. So he wants to get some kind of custom PC build, or I still think it's a bad idea, because like he's done custom builds in the past, and either stuff went wrong with him or he sold them off. Or
No.
I mean, if he was the type of person to buy an M1 Mac Mini, he probably wouldn't have bought a red either. I'll be honest.
This is true. This is true.
If you're just talking about that gets the basics, that covers what you need. But he's planning on upgrading his Fusion drive in his iMac to a full SSD. So we're probably going to end up live streaming that process. He pitched it to me. He was like, I want to take apart my computer and swap out things. And I was like, he was like, do you want to live stream it? And you can talk and I'll just be working in the background. And I was like, I think we should just point the camera at you. I'll just be the camera guy for that stream and I'll keep up with the chat. But
there you go.
He's still got some client footage on the drive currently. So he's waiting until that client is all done. And there's definitely no need for changes because he's sure that if if they still need changes, he's not sure if he's going to completely destroy the drive. I don't think that's the goal, but it's just a possibility. But I'm just not about like buy an external this, buy an external that. Sometimes I guess I am because I bought the iMac Pro in 2017, and at the time I was coming from a 256 gig MacBook, so I was like, "Whoa, 2 terabytes! I've got so much space." And now I wasn't anticipating I'd be using the red codec in a few years, and now that I am, I'm like, 8 terabytes. I'll fill that up pretty quick. So I'm thinking probably even with this type of filming and an 8 terabyte internal SSD, I'll probably still need to buy external drives to go along with it simultaneously. So
yeah, at least you're only editing 6K video. One of my friends down here in Starbase, he has the Blackmagic 12K. And
you just sent me that. I was like, that looks like my camera.
Yeah,
that's not my camera.
That's not your camera. Sorry. It chews through 4 terabytes in an hour. Full
4 terabytes an hour.
Full 12K.
An hour is a long time.
Raw, all of the 16 channels or whatever it is, uncompressed. It's a monster. But yeah.
That's a beautiful shot though you took.
Yeah, thanks.
It's sorry we can't. I don't know how to show it on for the podcast listeners, but just look up Blackmagic 12K. He's got the carbon fiber rails. Ross has got those too.
He has a Sigma 150 to 600, which is this lens. So
it's actually shocking how similar that camera looks to my Ursa Mini.
Yeah. See, you're seeing it from that angle. Similar. On the other side, there's like 8 stickers that say 12K. There's not a single sticker on that side that says 12K.
Mine's falling apart. I'm surprised it still works. It's got for our video listeners, if that's a thing.
Video listeners.
Watchers, that's
video
the term.
Watchers. Mm-hmm.
It's like the volume knob is broken.
Mm-hmm.
This one fell off. This one is just cracked. And this part is all loose and wiggly.
Wow.
And ready to fall off.
So you pretty much much need a 12K Blackmagic now. Is that what you're telling me? You're pretty much ready for the upgrade.
If there was a camera I'd consider getting, I would ask you probably about a few Sonys, or if I was going Blackmagic, I'm fairly interested in the 6K Pocket Cinema.
Honestly, if you were going to get another camera, I'd highly recommend a Z-Cam. Tons of people down here use Z-Cams.
What's a Z-Cam?
I'd never heard of the brand before I met Cooper, and it is literally a red Komodo, but $1,400
cheaper.
It's literally a red Komodo, but $1,400.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks just like the Komodo.
It's the M4. The M4 is extremely comparable to the red Komodo. I'm sorry. M6 I think is the one that does 6K.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I should not show this to Ross.
I know.
He's going to get so upset.
Yeah.
Well, it's ProRes RAW. He said he was buying the red for the red codec mostly, but
still, the color science is really good, and it has like 16 stops of dynamic range or something crazy, and you can it's a beautiful camera.
Z-RAW.
And the thing is so small.
Nice.
The thing is like my Sony the size of one of my Sonys, but cubed. It's so small.
Yeah, I imagine it's the same size as the Komodo. It's very little.
So much camera power here. So yeah, highly recommend Z-Cams.
Although I
don't own one, but
it's definitely the budget red option.
Exactly.
Well, the one I'm looking at, it says 4,000.
Yeah, so I think there's a 6K. They have a 6K. They have a 4K. The M4 is the one I'm familiar with because I almost got that instead of the Sony full frame. That's like $1,400, I think. Okay. Is the M4, a Z-Cam M4. And that one's 4K at 120,
yeah.
I think, is its max resolution and frame rate.
Okay.
And
wow, 4K at 160.
160. Okay, more than that.
Even faster than
Even
120.
faster. Yeah.
I'm about to make a bad decision.
Drew's like, I could
all
watch
my
it
videos are 120. You guys know, if YouTube supported 120 FPS, I'm doing it. I'm so doing it. No one would watch it, but I would know in my heart of hearts.
It's buttery. Yep.
This is so cool. I've never heard of Zcam. Unofficial sponsor of today's episode.
They're handmade by this guy and a few people.
That makes sense.
So each
Red
one
is handmade
each
too.
one is like slightly different, and each one is like they're serialized, like, you know, one of, you know, whatever, however many they are. So, but they're cheap enough to where people down here in Starbase, they just throw them around. You know, like if you have any kind of budget, it's like a good way to get a good camera, really cheap, real close to the action. And so, people who cover rocket launches and stuff will stick it really close, and they don't make it, but they record well up until the moment they don't. So
they just get destroyed.
Yeah, they do. They covered in dirt or just vibrated to death.
That's
or whatever.
so cool. Thank you for telling me about them. I didn't know.
Yeah. So now
I've never heard of Zcam.
Now you're gonna be spending lots of money. They also have a 180 degree virtual reality one, which is really cool. That Ryan, the guy that I sent you a picture of with his 12K, he also has that one. And so it's two 6K, I believe it's two 6K cameras like squished right next to each other, and it does the whole 180 degree VR view, and it's super crisp and clean. But anyway.
Well, it does look really cool, though. To be frank, one thing I would still side for the Pocket Cinema on is just simplicity.
Oh yeah, you need a monitor and a battery pack, and these
Zcams don't come with much. It's going to need everything to be built.
They don't
come
with it. They don't come with anything. It's literally just the camera in a box. Like there's no lens.
It sounds just like Red.
Maybe there's not even a lens cap. I don't know, but like it's literally just the camera. No batteries, no wires, and it's just the camera.
When we unboxed the Komodo, that's what it was. There's nothing else. Just just the camera. You got to provide CFast. You got to provide lens. You got to provide battery. That's why it always makes me laugh when people are like, "No power brick with the iPhone." I was like, "You guys should see some of this camera company stuff." It's like we don't even give you the power switch.
Nope.
There's literally shipping cameras without batteries. I mean, think about that for a second.
Yep.
You cannot turn it on
until you pay us more money.
Hardware.
Exactly.
Yeah. Until you buy more.
Definitely a part.
I just love this definitely seems I'm kind of scared to bring this up to Ross. He's going to be like, I mean, like, the question will be, how badly do you want the Red codec?
Right.
And are you willing to put that much money into it?
Because he could probably, I don't know how much he spent for his Komodo, but I bet you he could probably get two Zcams that have fairly similar specs for the price of his Komodo.
Try 3.
Okay, try 3. Okay.
Probably 3. But
so you get one of the nice Zcams and two of the throwaway ones, and then
there is definitely a bit of. I mean, I'm not usually the first person to talk about brand reputation, but there's certainly
there's some Red.
There's some Red codec that you can't get elsewhere. I mean, they're supporting 12-bit ProRes RAW, which is really good, really high, but it's not going to be as raw because Red has.
What
a
is he doing,
on.
and what can the Zcam do? Like,
that's
unofficial sponsor of the Tech Podcast.
Us sheep. That's what us sheep say. But the blind sheep is like, it gets the basics done, but that's the reason I haven't bought a new camera recently. It's because that's what this hunk of junk does behind me. I've had it since January of 2018. I've also had the tripod since 2016, and the tripod is heavily broken. One time I brought the tripod out into the living room, and I came back in here to grab a CFast card, and I heard the loudest crash I've ever heard in my own home. And I ran out there, and one of the legs gave out and landed the camera right on the hardwood floor. Ooh. And I was convinced, because the display was kind of bent backwards the direction it's not supposed to. I was like, no. I was so sad because I was like, I just broke my camera.
Yeah.
And I picked it up. I turned it on. It still worked. It was a little wobbly, a little shaky, but it's recorded every Tech and EV video for the past that happened over a year ago because it was before my wife was working from home. So it's been probably close to 2 years.
Wow.
The camera's still working.
Well, that's good.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
But
I had a tripod collapse on me in the dunes about a week ago.
Ooh.
Yep.
No.
My heart had a similar drop. I was talking with someone.
Was there an expensive camera on it?
Yeah, just the most expensive camera with the most expensive lens. That's all.
Just the most expensive.
It's just literally the James Webb Space Telescope, which I think is going to be the most expensive camera.
Oh my God! Was it okay?
It was okay. There's some sand and some stuff, but I blew it all out, and it continued to work.
Good.
Thankfully, the sand was soft, but like it got buried like 3 inches into the sand, and I was like, oh no, and it works. So now I really don't trust any of my tripods 100% because that was my good tripod that collapsed.
I should have bought a tripod a long time ago. I don't know why I haven't. I'm just stupid. I think I'm just dumb. Ross has this really nice Manfrotto one that's like all the legs are carbon fiber. And
really? Does he have? Is that the fancy one that's like $600 that everyone's talking about? Is it a cinema one or a camera one, or video, or?
Oh God, I don't know if there's a difference. I don't know.
A few people down here in Starbase have had like really expensive carbon fiber tripods, and they weigh like probably maybe a pound, but they're full size tripods. And like anytime anyone who knows anything about cameras sees those, they're like, "Oh, is that the whatever tripod it is?" And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, guess that's a fancy tripod."
I'm guessing it's probably that one, but it's very light with nothing on it. But the reason it's so light is because his red getup with the monitor and the lens. His lens is about the size of the one you were showing.
I think he has a Sigma, right?
And no, it's something else. It's a cinema grade.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
It's the type where
you can
I don't know how to
attach a motor to it, but a stepper. So you can do.
He has done that. He has the follow focus, so he can change the focus from a remote. And it's the type where the zoom doesn't change what's in focus.
Ooh.
So you can be in focus on something far away and then zoom in really close, and that thing you focused on is still in focus.
That's fancy.
And I didn't even know that was possible, but he started showing me that, and I was like, wait, so you don't have to move the focus ring as you're zooming? And he was like, no, it just stays. And I was like, that's cheating.
That's cheating.
You can't do that. So it's very fun to play with, but that whole getup is easily like 12, 15 pounds or something.
Wow.
Really, really heavy. And he's done a few handheld shots with it, and I'm watching the monitor, and I'm like, okay, that looks good. And then later on, I'm like, here, let me do a handheld shot, and I'll grab it, and I'm like, oh, God. It's like, how are you moving this thing? It's the heaviest camera I've ever held. It's and it's awkward, and it's bulky, and it looks great, but it's just such a heavy beast. And I was like, yeah, okay, never mind, we're going back to the tripod shot. Let's put it back on the Manfrotto because it's got all the pan heads and super slow moving.
That's so cool,
man. We haven't gone off on a gear rant.
No, we haven't. This felt good. This felt good and healthy, especially since I just got all my dream gear. Yeah, Randy missed out on it.
Randy missed out, but my favorite thing to play, my favorite place to be in is knowing someone with really fancy gear.
Exactly.
That is the way to do it yourself.
That is the way to do it.
Yep. I guess it's similar to your position where it's it's your job. So either your employer is providing you or it's a tax write-off. So you get to play with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun being around other. Because you're either a huge rocket nerd or you're a huge camera nerd down here. Right. And so I love hanging out with the camera nerds, like Ryan from Cosmic Perspective. Not saying nerd in a bad way, but like he is an artist in every sense of the word. But he has the 12K, and he was just casually using it this morning, and I'm just standing there next to it, like, this thing's recording in 12K.
What does he even
right
watch that on?
I have no idea. I have no idea what he does with that.
Yeah, no one wants 12K for the sake of like playback.
Family videos.
It must be because I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I need a camera. I think I'll start with 12K.
Yeah,
I don't think YouTube supports over 8K. So
oh no.
I did a whole rant yesterday about how pointless 8K is because of the type of screen you need to view it and how big that screen has to be.
Imagine
and the bandwidth
12K.
you need to. It must be because he's doing lots of digital zoom, right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
he's cropping in a
100%.
ton.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Like
that has to be it.
He's working on legitimate documentaries for Starbase, and so they want to capture everything as best they can now for posterity in the future, because who knows what, maybe 12K will be ubiquitous in 10 years. I hope not, because that sounds like a waste, but who knows.
I doubt it.
Me
we
too.
can't even get 4K.
Right. I can't even
We're
notice.
struggling to
I can't even notice 20 frames a second on my mouse that's not being operated by the computer that I'm operating
Yes.
on.
Law of diminishing returns is definitely a thing. We had the best-selling phones go from 1080p to 828p.
Yep.
Because literally no one cared.
Yep.
So I think it'll be the same thing with TVs of like, after a certain point. But for all the digital zooming you do at Starbase, I totally get it.
Yep.
Every pixel matters.
Every pixel counts.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching and staying tuned for Drew and Nick's camera hour. Wasn't anticipating that.
That's a new show we can do. We get Ross Drew and Nick's camera
gear.
hour.
All the gear Nick uses and all the gear Drew borrows from his friend Ross. And we'll catch you all next week. Take care, all. Bye-bye.
Bye.